Hello everyone, this is Smriti Mishra and on behalf of Phygenics, I welcome you all on another session of Phygenics Conversation. And those who are joining us for the first time, for them, I'd like to again mention that we have been conducting a meaningful conversation, and mostly we talk about the subject or on the theme of well-being. Today, we are today we are having the conversation about employees' heart health in times of COVID-19. The World Health Organization have estimated that by 2030, cardiovascular diseases will be the main cause of death throughout India, and that would account for more than 35% of all deaths. In India, Punjab, Tamil Nadu, and Haryana have the highest burden of heart diseases. With the COVID-19 outbreak, it is exacerbating the risk of heart-related diseases in India. So how to cope up better? What are the preventive measures, the healthy behaviors, and how can we better gear up with a new lifestyle? To understand this and to have better insight on this, we have our guest with us today, Dr. Kamal Sharma. Very warm welcome, sir, from the team Phygenics.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Hi,
Hello.
Smriti. Thanks for
Good
having me for the meeting. It's a
Thank you,
pleasure
sir.
to be here, connected again
Thank
with you through virtual meeting.
Thank you for
And
your
it'll be a
time.
pleasure to do whatever I can and help the audiences to understand this concept and guide them.
Thank you so much. So for our guest, those who are from Ahmedabad, I know very well that you all do not need any introduction about Dr. Sharma, but for all those who are joining for the first time and meeting virtually Dr. Sharma for the first time, for them, I want to give a short introduction. Dr. Kamal Sharma is a senior interventional cardiologist with a vast experience of coronary angioplasty, stenting, valvuloplasty, pacemaker, and pediatric interventions. He has a rare combination of DNB degrees in both medicines as well as cardiology. And he has been associated with the esteemed hospitals of Ahmedabad that include Apollo Hospital, UN Mehta Institute of Cardiology, SL Hospitals, and others. An active speaker and a great teacher, Dr. Sharma has been well acclaimed among his medical students in BJ Medical College, Ahmedabad. The passion of practicing, reading, and rediscovering the facts led him authored a book named Clinical Medicine for the MBBS and MD degree courses. So welcome, Dr. Sharma, and thank you so much for your time. And with this introduction,
Thank you to have me.
Start the conversation. Okay. So my first question to you is, with the onset of COVID-19, the present style of remote working has been shifted. People are sitting for a long time, and they have become more of the digital employees. So because they are having back-to-back virtual meetings, calls, and all. So what could be the possible health threats for such digital employees? Because listening from
Yeah,
will be really impactful. So I just wanted to know
Yeah,
your
so I think we will all have to learn and unlearn a couple of things. Firstly, of course, that fear is preventing people from going out and doing workouts like exercises or morning walks. And on top of that, the mobility that they had in the offices has also come down. And in view of that, the sedentary work that you are doing, you just get up from your bed and go to your desktop, and that's where you sit and work. And then that's the end of the day. So very minimal activity. So what I usually recommend that if you're somebody who needs to work virtually, you should make use to work with handsets where you can walk around, move around, do some stretching in between. Like in my workplace, what I do is that I usually don't sit and see my patients. I'm standing in my clinic and I'm
that's
seeing the
great.
patient. So sometimes it's awkward for the patient also. They tell me, sir, aap baithiye, main to baitha hu, aap baithiye. And I tell them, no, I have to stand. You take a seat because you're sick. I'm healthy. I will stand, and that's to keep myself healthy. Same way, what I do is I move between the chambers. So I move from one chamber to the other. So I don't make patients move. I move. I move from one chamber to the other, the second chamber to the echo to the ECG, and then back to my consulting. So that's how my activity moves around. So I think activity is very important, because we know from in COVID that cardiovascular health is a very important determinant of bad outcome. If you have a cardiovascular disease, the risk is 2 to 3 times higher. If you have hypertension, 3 times higher. If you're diabetic, if you have already post CABG, risk is again say 8 to 9 times higher for an adverse event like death or need for ventilator. And hence for these kind of patients, it's very important that you do activities, especially activities that can prevent development of deep vein thrombosis. When you don't walk, you can develop clots in your leg. And these can, later on dislodge and cause you pulmonary embolism. So activity is very important. You need to find out how you're going to be active and spending calories at least 45 minutes to 1 hour a day between two sessions on mobiles. I asked you to share me the WhatsApp me the login ID simultaneously do the session, but I deferred it because that would have caused a lot of noise in between. But that's one of the ways the meetings that you can do virtually on a go are always a methodology of spending some calories, even if though you're working at a distance. So that's one way. Of course, diet control, diabetes control, blood pressure control, cholesterol control are very important aspects as well. You need to make sure that your medicines for diabetes and blood pressure are not skipped and they are well under control. And people tend to do this, that they get carried away by WhatsApp messages. Don't take this group of drugs, don't take ACE inhibitors, don't take ARB, but that's not true. Uncontrolled blood pressure is more dangerous than, choosing drugs amongst the class. You can discuss with your doctor, and then if required, you can change according to the guidelines. But, not being on any protection is more dangerous than whatever little protection you're getting from whatever drugs. So blanket statement would be, don't skip your drugs.
Great. Lot of good messages, lot of take-home messages. I think all the viewers, all the participants, and whoever will be listening this conversation ahead and later. So just to summarize it up, this doctor is he's the one who practiced before preach. Even if he is a doctor, he first he himself practiced that, and then he just preach or suggest. So these are the very small, very simple, it's seemingly simple but very effective tips, and do remember. Okay, so thank you so much for your inputs. Moving ahead to next question, sir. Should focusing on behavioral modification can prevent us from the risk of heart diseases? Because people are very adamant for their day-to-day activities, and they think maybe they are used to it, so maybe they find it very difficult to change it. So what should be the focused area in their behavior?
Yeah, behavior is a very important aspect that needs to be modified, and you can have dedicated behavioral counseling if required. Behavioral modification is not just about what you eat or you smoke or how you live your life, but it's also about your dietary patterns, your exercise pattern, your way of thinking, your positivity about life in general. I think the behavior modification emanates on various aspects of life, and some of it, of course, is something that you have inherited, maybe genetically or environmentally from your background, from family, but a lot of it can actually be modified. So it's that this belief of the nature versus nurture controversy, as they call it in psychology. People, though, they talk about that ye nature to nahi badal sakte, but aap jo nurture karte ho, you can surely do change. So there are things that you can actually go into a group counseling, behavior therapy, asking them to, quitting smoking in group counseling, dietary modifications. Now there are various online groups that can be managed and discussed. You can have groups where people have quit smoking, or they've changed their lifestyle, or they've lost weight. There are groups, social support groups on the same. Dietary modifications like, sir, wo to non-veg to ban nahi kar sakta, So then there are people, you can always tell them there are alternatives to it. You can still have good food, and I think nobody better than Smriti would tell you how good a dietitian she is, that what are the alternatives that you can have for them. So things like that. I mean, behavior is a very important aspect that you can actually modify various risk factors. And everything is impacted upon it. For example, I'll give you a simple example of blood pressure. So by the DASH plan, as they call it, where if you restrict sodium intake, you can reduce blood pressure by 7 to 10 systolic. If you increase potassium, increase calcium in your diet, increase fiber, if you walk 45 minutes, stop alcohol or reduce alcohol, stop smoking, all this combined together can cut down your blood pressure systolics by almost 7 to 20 millimeters of mercury. Now this is practically, अगर आपका blood pressure 150 है, तो अगर आपने सब अच्छे से follow किया, behavior modification किया, so maybe you can get away without actually needing a drug in initial stages. It doesn't mean कि आपकी दवाई बंद हो जाएगी, but these can have a big impact on your outcome. So yes, behavior therapy is very important, of course. वरना फिर हम लोग जैसे कार्डियोलॉजिस्ट हैं दवाई लिखने के लिए और आगे ट्रीट करने के लिए.
Of course, but the health threats and all that you have mentioned, that is very, I mean, it's a very valid point. And actually, people know it. I think those patients or those who are having such, lifestyle disorders and diseases, they somehow know because they have heard a lot about it from the doctors or from the nutritionists. But the thing is, they need to bring a modification in their lifestyle, a healthy behavior that you say, that what you have pointed out very correctly. So, okay, moving to the next question. Majority of corporate workplace provide annual health checkup to their employees. That you must be very aware of that because you have always worked in corporate hospitals. So do you think that yearly physical examination is enough to take care of employees' health?
No, I think physical examination would pick up the illnesses. It will not actually cure you of illnesses. What you need is not just the diagnosing when the illness comes. What you need is to prevent those illnesses to come to you first. And for that, I think the environment has to be driven towards the health awareness. You know, a lot of corporates like in West, they have a treadmill, they have a gym, they have a healthy cafeteria. I think that culture doesn't exist in our country in most of the corporate centers.
Yes,
that has to come. आप health checkup कराएं वो जरूरी है, but आप हेल्थ चेकअप से बीमारी पकड़ोगे, बीमारी को आना नहीं रोकोगे. तो आपको वो कल्चर अपने एम्प्लॉइज में जनरेट करना पड़ेगा और वो ऊपर से ही आएगा. Well, that thing has to come from top. When your top management is sedentary, sitting on a chair, then probably you will not get it. But if your boss itself walks up the floors and doesn't use a lift, you are also motivated enough because 4 people are going to walk along with him when he's coming into the office.
True.
So that work ethics and work culture has to come from the top. And this behavior change also has to come from the top. Health checkups, one simple rule is that if your corporate does not give it to you, you make a rule for yourself that it's a gift that you give to yourself every birthday. So every birthday, you get yourself checked completely. So you know how much you have improved with your age or how much you have deteriorated with 1 year of age. So every year, this is the gift that you give yourself, or maybe you can give this to your spouse and your spouse gives it back to you. So something like that can actually keep a check on what's happening to you, and always keep this work ethics and work clearance. आप wife के लिए ये कर रहे हो, बच्चों के लिए ये कर रहे हो, boss के लिए ये कर रहे हो, junior के लिए कर रहे हो, आप अपने health के लिए क्या कर रहे हो? So that aspect, everybody has to have an insight कि मैं मेरे लिए, मेरी health के लिए ये कर रहा हूँ. And that time, 1 hour you have to give to yourself, 1 hour of thinking, analyzing that thing. Once you have it in yourself, once it becomes a habit, then I'm sure as a community, the health is going to improve, and then the work ethics and work culture will be health oriented.
Great. So this Diwali, I think Dr. Sharma is indirectly suggesting you to gift others any, well-being related to wellness. Gift something that is related to good health, and gift yourself. Make the checkup done and bring some behavioral modification that help you to, become and be healthy and fit. So this is what, the best gift that you can give to yourself and to your community. Okay, moving to the next question. How much does breathing exercise help to keep our heart healthy? Because there's so much research and studies.
Exercise? Yeah, so walk the treadmill. There are a couple of studies Now people have the वो standing bicycle, ergometric, वो cycle जो खड़ी रहती है चलती नहीं है पहिए हिलाते रहो. Now
Right.
people say that doesn't burn a lot of calories. That's not a good cycling. If you want to do a cycling, the cycle has to run. What you're doing is just moving your joints. You're not spending as much of calories as would be required for your brain and your body to, trying a balance when you're trying to run physically. Same way you have the treadmills. Now people say that when you walk on treadmills, the resistance impact is not very good. Sometimes it can be more degenerative for the joints. So treadmill, though, if you're not doing kuch bhi nahi karne se, definitely acha hai. But treadmills, you should be very sure that what quality of treadmill you're using is also important. You should not end up using, any chalu chila, any motorized belt, which can run and that becomes a treadmill. Aisa nahi hota hai. So there have to be certain standards that have to be followed. It should be a graduated one, calories.
Yes, I'm interrupting you here, sir. I'm interrupting you. Many of the clients and my patients have complained that the treadmill have created some other problems and all. So the problem is whatever gym they are going in, there the trainers they use to suggest, and they don't have actually some medical expertise, and they don't have much idea about that. So I think for those please summarize it in a simple way so that they can understand. So just do not give ear to those trainers who are not medically sound, and they can suggest them. So
your very point is very much valid. I mean, let's put it this way. आप जब gym जाते हो, when you go to a gym, when you meet your trainer, have you ever inquired what qualification does he have? I'm sure majority don't at least ask, sir, you are my trainer, fine, I'm your student, that's it, and let's begin. I mean, are they certified physiotherapists? Are they certified trainers? Are they trained people? At least they should be trained enough. They should not be like, you're the first time in gym and so you are the first subject for him. And if that is the case, at least he should be supervised by somebody. I'm not saying that you doubt every trainer, but it's very important because, and the good thing is that most of the gyms are at least clear about one thing. They ask, sir, do you have asthma, blood pressure, or any heart problem?
Yes, then
we will not touch you. At least they are very, then they will, no. Then you go and you get certificate from your doctor, then we'll allow you to enroll. So that's one good thing in most of the gyms. But how many of us actually know that they have a disease, but maybe undiagnosed? So that's why it's very important कि undiagnosed disease है आपको पता ही नहीं है और आप कुछ कर रहे हो and then end up with a problem and you're not doing in a graduated fashion the way it is recommended, then it can be dangerous. So you should do a good treadmill or a good exercise in a fashion which is suitable for you. For example, if you are a blood pressure patient or you have a valvular problem or you have ischemic heart disease, if you have blockages in your heart, then probably weights are not that good an exercise. Then you have to do a treadmill probably. So there are two types of exercises that we understand, isometric and isotonic, just to grossly say. एक वो exercise है जिसमें आपकी muscle की length change होती है और एक वो है जिसमें आपका muscle का tone change होता है. So when tone is changing, that you are increasing systemic vascular resistance on the heart, that's not something good for cardiac patients, but for otherwise healthy, it's good for bodybuilding, as they say. But length change hoti hai, that's a good exercise that a cardiac patients can do. So that's a gross distinction I gave, but then of course that's not something that I can finish in one talk. And I'm sure that this knowledge will give you enough an idea that not every exercise is the same. And so treadmill is good.
I purposely asked because I am going to share this with some trainers. Those who are just suggesting without knowing. So I purposely asked, and I understand this is not the topic that you can just speak and explain in a few lines. But
so there are a lot of sessions, there are a lot of topics, there are on videos, certified courses which can be used by the trainers, and then that can be implemented, and then they can share it with their prodigies and as to how to do it and how to optimize the kind of exercises that they want to do.
Okay.
So that's how it should be.
Okay, so we'll end up this session with my last question, sir. What do you think, who can deliver and execute effective health programs in any organization? Because programs are there, but it has not become effective.
Organizational programs has to go through various channels, but I think primarily everywhere the impact comes from the leadership. I think it has to come from the top, not just only from the bottom. आपको हेल्थ चाहिए पर आपका बॉस आपको सारे दिन काम में उलझाए रखता है और आपको टाइम ही नहीं मिलता, तो आप कैसे करोगे? So that motivation drive has to come from the top. The leadership has to believe, the organizational head has to believe that my staff has to be healthy, happy. If they are happy and healthy, they will be more productive for the organization, which is the concept that now most of the Western organizations have. They have fewer working hours, but they have good amount of social happiness hours, physical happiness hours, where they give you ample amount of time, compulsorily make you, do a exercise, compulsorily give you a break. It's not that you're working 365, 24/7. That's not, we are not robots. We are human beings, and there'll be phases that you will require a break. And so if you actually punctuate it with good amount of time for happinesses, for exercises, for behavioral changes, for health orientation, for social bonding, the organization will have a happy employee, and a happy employee is the right approach for an organization to grow. So the drive has to come from the top as well. But of course, if I keep on pushing as a leader to my employees to do it, and I have an executor somewhere involved into it, that will add the value. So the motivation has to come right from the top, but implementation has to go right up to bottom, with a good executor in between.
Exactly, I totally agree with you. And the health leaders of the organization should take a lead, just not to suggest and to
Yes.
bossing up. You need to move ahead. You drive the well-being sessions. You drive some wellness drives. You start first. Okay, so we are ending up the first session, and that was superbly. You have explained us in a very simpler way so that we can understand well. So this is the session where I'll ask some straight questions, and you have to answer just to say yes, no, or can't say. And just don't think, don't justify your answer, do not explain your answer, just say yes, no, or can't say. Okay. So my first question: you need not to be engaged in any workout unless your BMI goes high. Yes, no, or
No.
can't say. No. More than alcohol.
No, you have
Okay.
to be engaged.
More than alcohol, grabbing extra fat gives much discomfort to our health.
No, both of them do.
Okay. Regular exercises help in increasing the efficiency of heart muscles.
Yes.
Unhealthy food choices and inadequate sleep make us unhealthy and obese in later years.
Even current years, yes. Not only later years.
Right. The modern sedentary lifestyle is mostly blamed for a rise in heart diseases.
That's true. We have bad genes and we make it worse.
Absolutely. Okay, so moving to the next session, this is the rapid fire round, and you have to pick any one word, which I'm giving it to you. And later I'll give you one word, and then you have to just say whatever it comes or whatever it hits your mind. Okay. So pick any one: natural sources or drug dependency,
Natural sources.
gym or jog.
Gym.
Okay. Routine exercises or weekend workout.
Routine exercises.
Healthy foods, healthy fats or invisible fats.
Healthy fats.
Great. Dairy or broccoli.
Broccoli.
Okay. Okay. Now I'll give you one word, and then you have to say whatever it hits your mind. Omega-3.
Mixed data.
Great. Healthy heart.
Something you need for right now and for future as well.
Well, work-life balance.
Is what keeps you happy.
Choices and lifestyle.
Is your own choice.
It's great. Behavior.
Should be decent enough for yourself and others as well.
Oh, that's superb. So with this very fantastic end, I'm going to end the session, and I would again say thank you so much for your time. I know how precious your time is, but I'm sure
It's a
this
pleasure.
is gonna help all of us. And I especially thank you on behalf of my team for Genix. Thank you so much for your time, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was a pleasure being here on your show. We were planning it for quite some time, but then
Yes.
certain times I was busy and the other times you were planning your own
Your
thing,
time is
but it's
precious.
a
I
pleasure to connect.
completely understand. Your time is precious because
It
of
was a
us.
pleasure.
So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.